Our favorite topic, longevity. Every single person out there at the moment has jumped onto this peptides bandwagon, including me at the beginning before I started studying it, and yourself.
Yep.
But we now know about it.
Yep.
And hormones and TRT and you name it. Everyone's having an ice bath.
Yeah.
Everyone now is having cold showers, blah, 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 blah. And the list goes on. I mean, we're in Dubai at the moment and everyone is jumping on this NAD stroke NMN craze that has been around for years and years and years. I don't like the word longevity, and I'm sure you don't either.
Hate it.
And the reason why I don't like it is
Yeah.
because it's so, what's the word, generic, that I don't even understand what people mean when they say longevity. Going for a walk in the morning is longevity. One of the videos that came out recently, or not recently, a few months ago, was this guy called Ashton Hall, I think his name was, that went completely viral, where he woke up in the morning, tapes it, he mouth tapes before he goes to sleep and does blah, 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 starting from 4:30 in the morning. No man in his right mind does that first thing in the morning unless you're really motivated. That's not longevity. What the hell is going on with longevity at the moment?
I think we are in a... Look, when life coaching came out, especially after COVID,
Yeah.
everybody was suddenly a life coach. Everybody understood you. Everyone was going to fix you. Everyone was a life coach.
Yeah.
I did an NLP life coaching course, but I did it for myself. And when you... so everyone jumped on the bandwagon, didn't they, being a life coach? It's the same thing now, the longevity. Everybody's suddenly a longevity specialist. Now, one of the things that gets to me a lot is when you are looking at things like peptides. Let's step on peptides for a minute.
Yep.
Yeah? Peptides used wrong are very dangerous.
Yep.
They are dangerous.
Yep.
I don't understand how all these people that have no medical background, they do not understand biology, they probably couldn't tell the difference between a heart and a kidney, are suddenly experts in what peptides you should put into your body. Okay? Peptides used wrong, I will say again, are dangerous. You've got semaglutide at the moment. People are using semaglutide. What are your views? Ozempic. What are your views on semaglutide?
I think that you have a huge proportion of the population who are completely lazy, and that's my personal opinion, right? I'm not saying semaglutide is not good. It works. And then you've got the other ones that have come out afterwards. Wegovy, Manjaro, and then you've got the new one, which I can't say. Retatrutide.
Which we never can say properly.
Right.
But hold on a second. Have you seen how many people have been hospitalized because of that?
Yes, I have. And this is one of the things that I said at the beginning. Does it work? Yes, it does work. Does it cause side effects and symptoms of you feeling foggy, dizzy brained, passing out? I've personally known lots of people that have had that. Have I known people that have lost a lot of weight from being on Ozempic? Yes, it works. However, my personal opinion on it is that if you've tried every other step before that in order to get into shape or to lose weight or whatever your goals are, and you've exhausted that, and you have a medical condition whereby you are unable to lose weight, then yes, it's worth doing because of what it does with it, your insulin levels and what have you. But if you're just going to be on it because you can't be bothered to go to the gym, it's the equivalent of flying to Turkey and having a BBL done because you can't be asked to do squats ever again. That's my opinion of it. I think it works. However, you have to look at the side effects and everything that comes with it. It's the same thing with semaglutide is a peptide. It's the same thing with peptides. There are various peptides, which I've also tried and taken, such as BPC157 and TB500, where you don't need to have blood tests, even though we do blood tests for that, just to be safe, because of the knock-on effect of what that can do to your other hormones.
It's not just the hormones, though. It's the fact is that a lot of people are injecting with peptides.
Yep.
Peptides they are forgetting are collagen strains.
Yeah.
And if you don't actually... You're adding a growth hormone of some sort into your body. So if you don't have a blood test to understand what's going on within your body at that time, and you add something else into your body, you could grow something that doesn't want to be grown. You could ignite something that shouldn't be ignited. When you look at the reticulotride, if you look at how that, I'm probably saying that wrong. I'm probably going to get comments on how I say that wrong.
That's fine. I understand.
It's okay.
Yep.
It's one of those things I say wrong.
Yep.
But if you look at some of the problems that have come from that, what it doesn't allow your stomach to empty completely. So people are then eating sugar. Then what's happening is you're taking someone into a type 1, type 2, type diabetic situation because the sugar hasn't emptied from their stomach properly. And now you've got sugar circulating in this person's body that they haven't metabolized. Why? Because their stomach can't empty. It's really quite dangerous if you don't understand what you're doing. If you've got somebody that's just given it to you and they don't understand how to teach you about these are the times you take it, this is what you should and shouldn't eat, this is how you should be at that time, you're in a very, very dangerous space. We had a client come into us recently and they listed about 15 different peptides they were taking.
Yeah, without consultation.
Yeah. And we were like, you can't mix these together. And apparently they knew everything. They can mix it all together. It's totally fine. They've been told they can mix them all together. Categorically cannot mix all those peptides together. I then asked, are you having monthly blood tests to check your levels within your body?
Yep.
No. They weren't having monthly blood tests done. So any practitioner or anyone that's selling that to them needs to be held completely responsible for what could happen down the line. One of the other things about peptides is because we've jumped on this bandwagon of peptides, we don't know what the effects of peptides are going to be like in 10 years time.
Yep.
I have probably every day about 10 different manufacturers from China who email us saying, do you want peptides? Do you want peptides? Do you want peptides? These peptides are being churned out overnight. How many peptides on the market are actually pure?
I don't know, is the honest answer to that.
That's the worrying part. How much is pure? You're injecting something into your body. How much is pure? Because if we just take something really basic, and I'm going off topic slightly, but just to give an example.
Yep.
If we take a cream, what's the app you can use nowadays? You can use an app. What's the app you can use to test all the creams that you can use, etc.?
I know what you're talking about.
There's an app you use. Yeah. And you test all the products that you're using.
To check the quality of it.
To check the quality of everything that you're using.
Yeah.
How many creams, I'm looking at my daughter, by the way, at the moment, because she's younger and she's here. How many creams are there out there on the market that we've now gone and we thought we've used them for years, we've tested, and they've said that they are completely toxic? And these are creams. So what do you think is going to be the situation with peptides?
I know, but I always ask myself the same question, which is, so why are people jumping on the bandwagon of peptides and other longevity products like creams and everything else as well, which makes you feel good inside and outside? And the reason why, it's a shortcut.
It is a shortcut. It is a shortcut. Longevity is not a shortcut, though. Longevity and regenerative health is not a shortcut. Regenerative health is understanding your body, really doing blood tests, hair strand tests, and understanding whether you've got toxic metals in your body, how we're going to get rid of them, whether your bloods are working to an optimal level. Don't forget, some people, a normal doctor, will give you your blood test results and say, yeah, these are all within range. Within range of what? What are we going against? Because there are ranges, being a medical professional, every single year, the ranges change on certain blood tests. So certain levels for B12, I don't know, for iron levels, etc., etc. As we are evolving as human beings, the general levels are changing. So we now see blood test results come out and it will be like previous normal levels were X to Z. New levels are N to Z. They change. So what are the levels that are natural for people nowadays? I look at blood tests, you look at blood tests, and we really, really deep dive into them. And we see, okay, this person is experiencing tiredness because of this. I had a client recently, her B12, completely normal on the blood test. But because there's a thyroid problem involved, I know that B12 isn't optimal.
Yeah.
I know it wasn't good enough. Her ferritin levels, perfect. For someone else, absolutely perfect. But her ferritin levels for somebody with a thyroid problem were not perfect at all. They needed to be a bit higher. So there are so many things that go into regenerative medicine. It's not about throwing a peptide in and feeling great tomorrow because you're on peptides. It's crazy. This whole new way of thinking is so quick. It's like TikTok. I want everything now. I can only focus for 30 seconds on a video. I don't want to educate myself. The 30 seconds was enough for me to now become an expert and know this is what I want to inject in myself because I've watched something on MOTS-C for 30 seconds. I know MOTS-C is the peptide for me because it's anti-aging. It's insane.
I had a guy recently, a client who had a video consultation with me, and there's a big craze at the moment with, I know we've talked about peptides, but also with TRT on hormones and what have you. And there's a big conversation at the moment with men wanting to jump onto this bandwagon of taking Kisspeptin, which is a peptide which is given to men and some women to increase libido, to increase strength of erections, etc., and fertility as well.
Yeah.
And one of the things that I did with him, which was funny, was I did a quick medical history with him and was trying to find out how many hours do you sleep, etc. The guy sleeps 3 hours, right? He's not on a good diet. He's just under 40. He basically can't get it up anymore. And what he's looking into at the moment is, I forget the blood tests, he's more interested in taking the Kisspeptin and taking Cialis and Viagra and what have you, just so that he can manage. So when I say to you, it's become about shortcuts.
Yeah.
That's what people are looking at. And so when I know we're slightly going off topic, but it's still within topic.
Yeah.
People are jumping on this peptide bandwagon at the moment because it's new, it makes quick money. As you said, you've got loads of manufacturers in China and other places that are making it. So we can't govern the quality of it, but people just want a quick fix.
Yeah.
There's no difference between Ozempic and these peptides and everything else as well. So really and truly, when we say longevity, I know we don't like the word, but what are we really talking about?
I think the word longevity is cheap. I think it's a cheap word. I think it's been cheapened. And I think that we've used it and I refuse. I'm trying so hard now not to use the word longevity.
Yeah.
Regenerative, we have a complete, with CM London Clinic, we have CM Regen, which is the regenerative side to our business.
Yeah.
And it really works on understanding an individual's blood work, hair strand tests, the metal poisoning, jobs that they've done that have exposed them to different particles that could have caused different lethargy, could have caused low testosterone, all these sorts of things.
Yep.
So if we look back in the olden days, you'll look at men who were hard at work. They were using their body a lot more. It was a lot more laborious, the work. Testosterone levels stayed up.
Yep.
Nowadays, you have a lot more men that are more sedentary. They're sitting behind offices. They're in the desk all day long. A lot of them don't train.
Yeah.
So what happens then? The testosterone levels drop.
Yeah.
Then you've got the extreme of a man that goes to the gym. He takes steroids. He's the gym guy. He's getting, he wants to get as big as he can.
Yeah.
So he will jump and he'll do I'm in an office, but then because I want to get super big, super quickly, I'm going to take steroids.
And peptides.
And peptides.
Yeah.
What's going to happen? Your testosterone levels are going to drop. So if you look at the reason testosterone levels, for example, are dropping, it's because of lifestyle. That is where regenerative medicine comes back in. You need to strip that straight back again and say, right, let's start you from the beginning and let's figure out why you've got to this place where your testosterone levels are low, you're a beefcake but you don't get a morning erection, or you're a female and you no longer have a sex drive. Yes, that comes into hormonal changes 100%,
and age,
but hormones are changing a lot quicker than they used to, and there's a reason for that. It's about the free radicals. It's about things. It's about your environment. It's about your inflammatory markers within the body. How many of our clients have got inflammation? You and I have done blood tests where we're suffering from inflammation.
I've got it.
And we work and we train and we try and lead this very productive and healthy life. We still suffer from internal inflammation.
Yeah.
And that doesn't mean that you've got a crazy injury happening. I've seen people CRP, which is their infection levels, just balancing on just okay, but nobody's CRP levels should be balancing on just okay. There's something going on there. Your body is constantly in flight or fight, which means that your regenerative side to your body is just not working. That's gone on pause. You're seeing yourself looking older. You're more tired. You've got more fatigue. Your sex drive isn't the same. All these things. And I will put one thing out there. I read something that a lady wrote one day, and I can't remember her name to reference her, and if I remember her, then I will reference her. But she said something really good. If you, as an adult, do not have a sex drive, female or male, there's something wrong. It's your one thing that you can easily in life identify with. Do you have a sex drive? Ask yourself that now. Do you have a sex drive? I'm not talking about going at rabbits 10 times a day. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about, do you desire to have sex at least 2 or 3 times a week?
Yeah.
If you do not, something's going wrong with your hormones.
Yep.
Because we are sexual beings, and actually we should want to have sex. Our sex drive is a really big tick, and it tells us so many things. What's the first thing we ask when we see people? Do you get morning erections? Or if you're a woman, are your periods normal? What's your sex
it's
drive
the biggest
like?
indication.
It tells us so much. It's a personal thing, but it tells you so much. So longevity, I think, is the quick, cheap way. It's about rushing in the peptides, rushing in all of these things that have just come into the market right now. And then you've got the regenerative side. That's really working through your bloods, working through your hair strand tests, because that tells us so much more that bloods don't tell us. Stool tests tell us an incredible amount of how many metals are in your body, etc. All of these things then lead to your regenerative work.
And optimizing your body.
That's the long-term thing here. That's long-term. The longevity word and how it's been cheapened nowadays is not a long-term fix. That's not something to get you till you're 80 or 90 years old. That's something for now, so you feel good right now.
I'll tell you one of the things which I found absolutely mind-blowing, and this was for me as a personal experience. Do you remember when I had my hair strand test done a few years ago, and that came back, and they said to me that, or the test came back and said that I had arsenic poisoning.
Yeah.
Which is what was causing the inflammation, which was causing my bowels to, my stomach
to... You were
to
in shock.
Yeah, and so by arsenic poisoning, I don't mean somebody poisoned me. Yeah. It means or meant that I was having too much rice.
Yep.
And I'm from an Indian subcontinent background and Bangladeshi. And for us, having rice is normal.
Yeah.
We have rice day in, day out. And the moment I stopped that, it fixed my body.
Yeah.
Which was crazy because...
Well, we had to pull the arsenic out of your body first of all.
With using other things.
Yeah.
But that's what we're talking about when we're talking about optimizing.
Yeah.
Because that for me was life-changing.
Yeah.
Because the moment I stopped having rice or having that particular type of rice, it completely changed the way I felt and everything else as well that came with it. So that's what we mean by regenerative and not longevity, right? But by optimizing somebody's health.
Yeah. The metal poisoning is a massive one. Like, people really underestimate it. They really, really underestimate it. Even, people that we see regularly and that have serious health problems.
Not many people understand what metal poisoning is, because every time I mention it to people, can you quickly touch on what metal poisoning is? Right.
So you can have aluminium poisoning, mercury, copper is not a good one.
Yeah.
Arsenic, like you had. There are many different metal poisonings you can have. And what happens is when the body hasn't flushed the metals out of your body, we touch metals all the time. Look, this mic, there's metal on it. Yeah. We touch metals all of the time.
Yeah.
And when our body can't flush it out and we get too much of that metal, what happens is you've got your cell, and then your cell almost gets a force field around it. So any nutrient you're taking are unable to penetrate into that cell.
Right.
And therefore you've got too much metal in your body. Now, metal poisoning can be from 0 to 100. I've seen and I've known of people that are at 100 and they were paralyzed from it.
Oh, yeah.
They were hospitalized, they're in a coma,
yeah.
all from metal poisoning. Now, that's a really extreme case. But there are unexplained situations that happen to people and they don't know why it's happened. The doctors can't get their head around it. And I say straight away, please do a metal test on this person, because it's not a normal thing in medicine to just go and do a metal test on people.
You're not taught about this.
You're not taught to do this when you do anything medical. So actually doing the metal poisoning tests on various individuals, they found, this person's got too much aluminium or too much copper or too much, arsenic in their body.
Yeah.
People from Asian backgrounds, a lot of the time there's the arsenic problem. Why? Because they're born and bred on rice. Rice carries arsenic. Mm-hmm. And a lot of people don't understand that. So there are so many people that have worked on the train lines, have worked in industries, in factories, right? Mm-hmm. And all the time they're touching metal all the time, more than we would be touching. Copper coins, always holding money in your hand, and when we always used to use coins a lot. We don't all use coins a lot nowadays, but when we had coins, all of this causes metal poisoning.
Yeah.
If your body hasn't metabolized it and flushed it out of the body properly, you then get too much of this metal. So therefore, all the nutrients you're taking. Sometimes people are taking loads of iron supplements, and they think, oh, but I'm low on iron. How am I low on iron? I take iron every day, but that could be interacting with another metal in your body. So therefore, you're not absorbing the iron at all.
Correct.
The ferritin levels then change.
Yeah.
And when we look at the ferritin levels, this tells us a lot about how we are metabolizing the iron, how we're storing the iron, if we're using the iron for energy in the body, or if we're just storing it and it's making us toxic. So there are so many different avenues that you can look at when it comes to metal poisoning. I'm a really, really strong believer, and there may be people that disagree with me, but I am a strong believer, and it's my opinion that a lot of illnesses stem from
Metal poisoning.
I really think that, because our human body is not built to sustain this kind of way of living, and we are subjected to so much more metals nowadays than what we were. Foods have metals in it. There's baby food that was one of the brands of baby foods recently. Someone put a metal detector over the baby food and metal came out of it. Baby food, baby rice has metal in it.
You can't avoid that because
It's insane.
It's the production process.
Yeah.
It's like the difference between having, I know you're not supposed to, but you know the difference between having a drink which comes out of a can versus having it in a glass bottle. It completely tastes different.
Yeah. Tuna. You shouldn't eat tuna out of a can. We still do. We still do. It's not, we live in Dubai and it's not easy to find tuna in a plastic container.
Yep.
If someone knows the easiest place to find it, please give us a message, because I can't find tuna in a plastic container. In the UK, you can find tuna in a plastic container really easily.
Yeah.
So I always used to try and find, I know the plastic isn't great, but it's better than the metal that it's been sitting in for how long?
Yeah.
Because also tuna also carries heavy metals from the waters that it's been in. So you've now got a metally fish that you're eating.
Yeah.
So something that's so good for you can be so bad for you at the same time.
On top of the mercury
on
issue.
top of on top of all these issues. So there are so many different aspects to look at when you're looking at anything like this. So when we look at regenerative work, it's not, you understand now why I say there's longevity and there's regenerative.
Yeah.
Longevity is that quick fix. Let's take peptides, let's take NMN, let's take, and I love NMN, by the way, I take NMN, but let's take all of these things right now because that's going to make us feel great today.
Yep.
That's not longevity. That's a quick fix now, so you feel good right now. Let's see if you're still on these products in 2 years' time. But let's look at regenerative work. We need to strip back and see, do you have excess metal in your body? Is your body metabolizing things well? Do you have enough nutrients? All the vitamins that you think you're taking, is your body actually metabolizing these nutrients, or are you just toxifying your liver and your kidney? Mm-hmm. This is my view on regenerative and longevity, the difference. What do you think?
I think it's very similar. I think I'm speaking from my own experience. Regenerative for me is optimizing your health according to your own body and your ethnicity and what have you, and ensuring that you basically feel the best.
Yeah.
So let me answer this from a very medical perspective, the difference between longevity and regenerative, right? So people don't understand what peptides are. So in a nutshell, the way peptides work are, peptides are basically short chain amino acids. So they range from 2 chains and they can go anywhere from 3 all the way up to complete huge polypeptides, they call them, whereby there's a sequence of how they work. So what they basically do is, when that peptide goes into your body, it then acts as a messenger and then goes into the body, and it either rings a doorbell or knocks on the door, and it causes a systemic effect on the body to release certain hormones. That's the reason why you need to have blood tests. And the reason why you need to have blood tests is because if you send the wrong messenger into the body, what that then does is it can trigger something which your body doesn't want to do.
Got it.
Does that make sense?
How would that trigger, for people listening, how would that trigger? Like, let's just take 2, for example, BPC 157, TB 500, everyone knows that's for injury.
Yeah.
Really good for gut health, etc.
Yeah.
So that compared to, I don't know, MOTS-C or give me one that we've, I can't even think.
Kisspeptin.
Kisspeptin. If we go go for the two of those, how would one trigger, for example, at the worst case scenario, cancer cells? How would the other just do what it's gone in to do, i.e. fix the gut, fix an injury?
BPC 157 and TB 500 are not what they call I can never say this word, secretogs, right? Which basically means that they don't stimulate growth hormone production. That's the first thing. People think that if you take growth hormone, right? So let's take it one step back. The whole reason why this whole peptide conversation came about, peptides have been around for years.
Yeah, of course.
The reason why people are jumping on this peptide bandwagon is because they don't want to take human growth hormone, which was the old school version of what they were doing. And what that did was it triggers off a whole cascade of events. One of those is they're worried about the production of cancer cells. Because if you've already got benign cancer cells within your body, what you're going to do is trigger that cycle, and that's going to cause the production of more cancer cells to be produced, which is why you need to take blood tests before you have it done. It's not just that, it's to do with your hormones and everything else as well that you have within your body. Insulin, your thyroid, your this, your that, it can throw everything off. The difference between the two is one triggers off growth hormone release in the body and the other one doesn't. And the ones that don't, which don't require blood tests, are the BPC 157 and the TB 500, because they are hormones within the body. Like, for example, within the gut. Yeah. If I pick BPC 157, body production compound, it's called, right? And that comes from the gut. And what that basically does within the body is it causes tendons, ligaments, and other healing of different body parts. And it actually helps you with your gut. It doesn't cause the doorbell ringing or the knocking on the door, which causes the growth hormone release.
Yeah.
It doesn't do that at all. All the other peptides that you have, they do that because they have longer chains and they have different things that they do within the body. So that's the real difference between, medically speaking, the difference between the different peptides that you have. So can you see now, if you've got someone who doesn't understand this, and most people don't, that if you now see something on a website...
A lot of doctors don't understand it.
They don't.
They just jumped on it because they realised it's something that everyone's asking them for.
They don't. They think you, as a man, for example, if you don't have a sex drive and you don't have having morning erections, order this from this website and this is what it's going to do. Yeah. Can you see how dangerous that can be?
Yeah.
Because in addition to throwing everything off and not getting to the root cause of why they're taking this... And I'm sorry to say this, and I'm pardon my French, it pisses me off when you have medical practitioners which come along and they tell people what to take without telling them the right things to take.
Yeah, absolutely. We see that a lot.
And to follow the right process.
Yeah, we see that a lot.
So let's pretend you're a guy and you come to me and you say, I'm not feeling too great. My hormones are completely off. And I now, what can I take? And I say to you, just take this. It will be absolutely fine. Order this peptide of this website. You haven't done your due diligence to make sure that this website is completely legitimate and they've got the correct products.
I think you were missing something very important here, though.
What's that?
Something that you said you were just talking about because you brought it into the conversation was growth hormone. Longevity, regenerative work. Yeah. What did I say about longevity to begin with? It's a quick fix.
Yeah.
What does growth hormone bring with it? A price tag.
Big price tag.
A big price tag. What do peptides bring with it? A low price tag. So if people can go for growth hormone or they can go for the cheaper version, the peptides, nowadays the TikTok person is going for the cheaper version, the peptides. So this even more accentuates what I've just said, that longevity is this short-term thing and people, like what you've just said, are not understanding what they're putting in their body. Why? Because it's cheaper.
I know, yeah, but
that's a big problem.
But it's not just the fact that it's cheaper. People think out there, and people genuinely believe that taking peptides alone on its own is not going to give you the same level of side effects, and you don't need to have the same blood tests, medically speaking, as if you injected human growth hormone directly. And that's the biggest fallacy and the biggest mistake. I'm not saying you do or you don't. You need to have blood tests for both.
Yeah.
But you need to know what you're doing and what you're injecting into your body. I think that's the key thing.
So educating themselves.
You need to know what you're injecting in your body. You have to know.
I think patients have to be responsible as well for their own knowledge. I know patients rely on doctors and they rely on us to tell them what they need to know and what they shouldn't do and should do. But you also have to be held responsible for yourself. You have to understand what somebody's injecting into you or what someone's given you to inject, and understand how that is going to react with your body and ask the right questions. Have I had the right tests for this? Is my body accepting of this? You have to ask all these right questions. You can't just then inject 100 things, take 100 pills, and then think, oh, it's your fault that I'm feeling terrible now. You didn't do the job right. And a lot of patients as well, they go and see 2 or 3 different people. So if you see 2 or 3 different people,
you're going to get 2 or 3 different
you're going to
opinions.
get 2 or 3 different opinions, and suddenly you've got a cocktail of things that you're taking.
That's why I say, look, you know, the difference between longevity and regenerative medicine is it's not just the responsibility of medical practitioners. Yes, they have an overall responsibility of educating people, but it's the person's also responsibility of going out there and also educating themselves.
And there's no excuse nowadays. You've got ChatGPT, you've got Claude, you've got your educator
Listen,
in
social
your pocket.
media and the internet now is vast. There's loads of BS out there of internet on social media of people giving their own opinions in terms of what they should take.
ChatGPT is politically correct, though. It will actually be politically correct with you. It will tell you, no, you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Yes, you should do that. You know that little thing it gives at the end where it says you should do and shouldn't.
Especially if you give it the prompt of don't give me no BS and just give me what's safe for me and be my wingman, so as to speak, to make sure that I'm covered and protected. It will tell you, no, you can't take this.
Yeah.
Sometimes, even with me, I read ChatGPT and I'm like, that's not the answer that I wanted to hear, but it's giving me the truth.
So we're looking at regenerative
versus
not
longevity. Correct.
Yeah.